Welcome back, America. It's Hugh Hewitt. Time to get to the conclusion of my interview from about an hour ago with Newt Gingrich. Here is that interview. Can you get a wall built on the southern border, and if so, how long will it be, and will that precede any regularization of any illegal population?
It'll be the first step, and will precede everything else. The bill will stipulate completion by January 1, 2014. It will waive all federal regulations. It will go back to a World War II style management system. We fought the entire Second World War in 3 years and 8 months. It is absurd to think that we can't build a wall or a fence along the border. I'm also prepared to take the 23,000 Department of Homeland Security officials in the Washington, D.C. area and move half of them to the Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona borders if we need additional manpower. But I fully expect that this will become a very big issue next year, that virtually every member of Congress will sign up to pass the bill. We'll actually draft the bill's language next spring. It'll be on newt.org. We already have at newt.org a 21st century contract with America, which has as one of its key items completing the fence and controlling the border by January 1 of 2014. And that will be a very aggressive goal of my part.
How long will the wall be, Mr. Speaker? Because some estimates say 370, others say 700 miles. The most expansive say there's 850 miles that have to have the double fencing with the road. What do you say?
All I'll say is I want 100% control of the border, and therefore I want the amount of fencing you need to have 100% control of the border. If there are areas that are totally impassable, there's no point in fencing them. But then you have to monitor those areas and make sure they remain totally impassable.
And so
what I don't want to have, if you tell me you have 96% control of the border, you have no control of the border, because your opponents just have to be smart enough to find the 4%.
So when you made your comment about families who've been here 25 years, which, by the way, I agree with, I think most Americans agree with, that was not going to happen in your world until that fence is built?
Well, I've always said it's a sequence. I'm against any comprehensive reform because it's not doable. The sequence starts with building a fence. Part 2 is English as the official language of government. Part 3 is requiring history of the United States, knowledge of American history before you can become a citizen. Part 4 is modifying and improving the legal visa program for visitors, for guests, for tourists, for business visitors. Part 5 is a guest worker program that is run by American Express, Visa, or MasterCard, so it's hard to counterfeit and it's effective. Part 6 is a easier deportation program, so if we find out you belong to MS-13, we kick you out in a couple of weeks. We don't go through some long, elaborate American litigation process. Part 7 is that we have a guest worker that we raise directly the penalties on employers, so that, because you don't get illegal workers without illegal employers, and so we want very stiff economic sanctions if you hire people illegally once there's a guest worker program. And then the last part is, now that you've set all those building blocks in place, what do you do with folks who've been here a long time? People who've been here a short time go home, period.
Where's the transition?
Amnesty.
I don't think it's amnesty either.
Look, I listed at 25 years. Reasonable people can negotiate. We can have hearings in Congress. We will have time to work this out while we're building the fence. This is not an overnight project. But I think most Americans would agree that what I'd like to have is a World War II selective service board model where local citizens form the board, local citizens do the certification. We may even have a requirement that you have to have a family that sponsors you as a part of this process. And in doing that, what we're looking for is who are the people who have been here so long, who have family, who have roots, who have ties, who belong to the local church, that it would be genuinely inhumane, and the American people will not tolerate police going in and ripping them out and shipping them out of the country. Now, there's some practical level at which that occurs. It is clearly a relatively small minority of the people who are here. Most of them end up going home. Even the ones who are allowed to be certified are certified for residency. They're not eligible for citizenship. They're not eligible to vote. That's a totally different process, and that has nothing to do with getting a residency permit.
Last question, Newt Gingrich. On Hannity last night, I made the observation, I'm not surprised that the two last Republicans standing, you and Mitt Romney, are both supported by spouses of extraordinary character and accomplishment. If Callista is the First Lady, what do you expect would be her primary focus?
Well, she and I have talked about it a little bit. It's obviously very flattering, and she's just had a wonderful experience. Her first time as a New York Times bestselling author with a book called Sweet Land of Liberty, in which Ellis the Elephant introduces 4 to 8 year olds to American history, and it's done very well. But I think what she would probably do is, first of all, music. She is a pianist by training. She plays the French horn in the Fairfax Community Band. She sings in a professional choir at the Basilica of the National Shrine of the Immaculate Conception. She loves music. She'd love to bring much more music education and much more music activism to the White House. Second, I think she has a deep personal commitment to American exceptionalism. She's written a book on it. We've done movies about it. And third, she has a real concern about cancer. Her mother's a breast cancer survivor. Her father died of lung cancer. We have a number of friends who had cancer. And I think she'd like to have some role in cancer awareness and cancer education. It's something that's a passion inside her. I think those are the three things that she would really be focused on in a passionate way.
Newt Gingrich, thanks for spending so much time with us tonight. We'll talk to you again hopefully soon.
Great. Talk to you soon.
Newt.org, America, to check in on the Speaker's campaign.